Hello, my dear friends. This is your host, Dr. Suresh Shenvi. It has been some time since we made a new topic for my YouTube channel, that is Aspire 32. But finally, the podcast which I was waiting for, this is from with my student one time, but today a very good friend, and it is about Canada. And in this podcast, we will be covering the latest information which has been happening in the Canada, and I think this will be very helpful. I welcome Dr. Yash Shah to this podcast from Canada. I hope you are doing great, Dr. Yash.
Hello, sir. Thank you. Thank you for inviting me to this. And I'm just glad that it's not our cons department Viva, like end posting Viva. Um, yeah, thank you, sir. Thank you for the introduction.
So it has been quite some time since we are planning this podcast, and before going ahead, let me tell you that Dr. Yash cleared his undergraduation from KLE VK Institute of Dental Sciences in 2017, and I remember that this guy was very intelligent, capable, but as usual, very similar to my life, where I used to be confused and like anyone else who will be confused about the
Mhm.
journey ahead. We were sitting in the canteen, and he was quite confused whether he should go for Canada or plan for Indian entrance exam.
Yes, yes, sir. We were sitting having our tea and samosa and snacks and discussing this conversation right during the internship phase. And yeah, it all makes sense. We see after like 6, 7 years. I think it's all planned, it's all written. We just have to choose one direction, one path, and give your best, and just leave up to God, and he'll take us to the next steps.
Exactly. And I think one very important message I want to tell my viewers or students, that many times you can't see what might happen because of your one step. It always appears confusing. But sometimes your teacher, your colleagues do see that you will be able to do it. And sometimes you just have to trust on your guide or the God's plan and just go ahead. Now, why I'm trying to tell you this is Dr. Yash finally cleared all the hurdles of the Canadian licensure exam, and it was not very simple this time because during his journey there was COVID, there were a lot of changes, and I think this podcast will be very helpful. It will be done in some series. First, we'll discuss about the PR, which is a quite hot topic when it comes to Canadian, exam or plan someone who wants to shift there. And maybe in some upcoming podcast, we'll discuss about the recent exams. So my first question, Yash, is that why this PR is so important, and why one should think about this when they plan to go to Canada to learn or to give the exam and settle there.
Uh, Sir, with PR, it's like there are a lot of benefits if you come on a student visa as compared to if you're coming here directly on basis of PR. First of all, like if you see from the exams point of view, now there is a bank called CIBC. So that bank can provide you financial assistance while you are preparing for the exams, but they provide you this loan only if you have PR. If you're on student visa, then they won't provide you with this specific fund which they provide to internationally trained dentists. Number two is if you come on PR, you're eligible to work anywhere. There's no restriction on amount of hours you want to work, what type of work you want to do. You have also have your health benefits, your medical benefits if you're there on PR. Uh, these are the few things which I see. Because if you come on student visa, you're restricted that you certain number of hours you can work. You have to go to your college, have your studies finished, and then have your work permit. So basically, it's like spending around roughly 2 years on your student visa, and then at least a year on your work permit, which you'll get after you finish your college. And after that, you're gonna be eligible to apply for a PR.
Okay. So to get the PR, I'm sure there would be some formalities, but the basic advantage, as you said, it is you can get a loan for your education in Canada, and there are benefits like you can get a health treatment, everything covered if you have the PR. Okay. And how difficult is it today to get the PR? Is it quite easy? Did you struggle a lot to get PR? Because I remember that there was some confusion in earlier days that you were very worried whether you will be getting the visa, or the process is quite tiring. So why is that such a difficult thing to get a PR there?
Sir, to be honest, like I had my PR done like 3, 4 years back. Okay, so I'm not too sure about the current scenario, but the thing there are a few requirements. For example, it all depends. So there is like a CRS, comprehensive ranking system. So and there's a certain level of score. So you can always check your score, put on the Google like CRS score, and then depending upon your age, if you're single, if you're married, then if you have your work experience from outside Canada. For example, if you have work as a dentist, at least minimum of 1 year is mandatory. 1 year of full time, working as a dentist. The more you number of years you have, the more score you will have. Then IELTS, even that is a major, it's something which gonna help you score more. So at least like 8 bands. So basically, in listening, you should have at least eight, and others you should have at least 7 bands. So the more score you have in your LTS, it's gonna give you more score. Then, if you have your brother or your sister, if they are permanent residents of Canada, that's going to add you more points. And also, one thing is, like even if you do BDS, it's going to be considered as a professional degree or master's degree. That's the option you select when you look for a score in the CRS thing. So all this will give you a score, and there is a different, like I think, express entry and federal skilled program, Indian express entry, that you can check on Google, like what's the cutoff score, what's your score, and then you can see what the recent changes are happening.
So this PR, you have to apply when you're in India, right? You can
Mhm.
apply it from anywhere, and you are saying there are two processes. One is the express entry, and one is a regular one. So the express
Yeah,
entry, does it mean that you will get it faster compared to the general process of getting a PR?
no, so this express entry is a way. That's the only one. Like two routes, either come on student visa or you come through PR. So this PR, there is an express entry program. It's the same thing. That's the only way to come directly on basis of PR. And the second would be to come on a student visa.
Okay, so if I have understood right, one way is you go through express entry where you will have to show your work experience, your English proficiency, and if you have a family there. That is one clear
Mhm.
route. And the second
Mhm.
one is you go to study there, and once you study there, you can get into the PR list.
Right, right. Yeah. So for student visa, like I think at least 2 years of student visa, you have to do, for example, courses like dental assisting, or there are also project management courses, or do a dental hygiene program. And then after 2 years, you will get like a 3 years of work permit. So in that 3 years of work permit, you finish your first year of full-time work, and then you can check how your score is, and then apply for PR. Okay. So first of all, I would say like what I used to do, like luckily I had a couple of our seniors who were from KLE, and I used to talk to them, and then they used to guide me. Okay, these are the recent changes. You can apply like this. You can do this. So I would say, and also I used to send a lot of DMs to random people. If I see someone who is a dentist who is in Canada, I just send them a message. Hello, sir. I'm this, and I'm planning to come to Canada. Maybe out of 10, one or a couple of them would reply, and even you get some information from their experience. So that's something I used to do. And I came on a student visa. I took a course of dental assisting. Uh, so coming on a student visa, one thing is going to help you is doing this course really helped me to get to know how the clinics work. Uh, while during preparations of my exams, I used to work as an assistant to different clinics. So you network. I had like when I came, I had a group of friends. We all starting from scratch doing this assisting course. All were like foreign trained dentists, and you network, you make friends. Um you gain a lot of experience how the system is, how this clinic works. Because when now I'm working in a clinic, if I had no dental assistant experience, it's going to be a totally different challenge. So that helped me by doing this course. Then, but if you give me two options, either to come directly on a PR or to come through a student life, getting coming here through PR is much more beneficial, as you will not I won't say waste, but you won't be giving it 2 3 years just to get your PR. Because if you come through student visa, at least 2 to 3 years you are spending. Also, a lot of money is being spent because of these courses are expensive. So that is yeah, you have to invest 2 to 3 years additionally, plus your this NDB equivalency process or your university road.
Okay, so what you're basically saying is that If you can get an express entry, then you can directly apply for the licensing exam and you can concentrate there. Or
Mhm.
else you will have to do a degree, which I think you are saying that it is helpful in some or the other way. But there would be some, I think major is the financial issue, because it must be a large sum of money, because international courses do cost a
Yeah,
lot. Can you
yeah,
name few
yeah.
courses which students can apply if you want to go on a student visa there?
Uh, so I did dental assisting. That's a 1 year course usually, and dental hygiene is a great program too. But it's not that easy to get into dental hygiene program directly. But if you do dental hygiene and once you graduate from them from the college, the pay is really good. So you can at least have a good backup, like job which you're doing while you're also preparing for the exams. So and there also I've heard like uh, dental receptionist, then health administration courses. So all these different courses are this. Ways to come here and have education, have you get to know how the system is, and have a like a good foundation for your growth.
Okay, okay, fine. So the how easy is to get in the courses which you mentioned, because in US also many people they go for MPH, they apply from India, they get great responses from the universities, replies. Are the universities for courses like dental assistant, dental, so many other courses which you mentioned, do they respond to your emails? And what would be an average fees if you go there as a student during your early days before you get the PR?
So like dental assisting, to get into dental assisting, I don't think it's a very challenging thing. There are a lot of colleges providing these courses. uh, I don't think it's a big challenge to get into them. And the fees, I would expect, what I think it's around 15 to $18,000 for the whole year for one course. So if you're doing two courses, like 2 years, so it's going to be roughly around $35,000.
Okay, so 20 lakh is your expenses for the college. And
Hmm.
are you allowed to work side by side on the student visa? Because I think as a if you get a PR in express entry, you are like as good as a citizen of the like you are a resident there. So I'm sure that they would be allowed to work. But if you go as a student visa, for example, in US, if you go on a student visa, there are number of hours which are mentioned.
Yes, sir. When I had my student visa, it was around 20 hours per week. That's much that many hours you can work. But yeah, that's the perk of if you come on a PR, there's no restriction. Work as much as you want, wherever you want, whatever job you want to do. Yeah, there are no restrictions on it.
That's great. And do you think by doing a job during your studies, you will be able to cover all your stay expenses, or you will have to still spend some amount from your Indian account to cover these expenses?
If you're coming on student visa and you having this during the college, I think if you work 20 hours, you can at least get your expenses. Because I used to live in Sudbury, that was like a smaller town as compared to Toronto. So there, the rent was less. There were not many places to go. So you would save money eventually. But if you live here in Toronto, there are n numbers of restaurants, a lot of places to visit. It all depends how you're able to cut down your expenses. But uh, yeah, if you live here, it's going to be a bit of challenging, but you can at least manage with your 20 hours of uh, work. I mean, it should be okay.
So I'm very keen because I'm a teacher. I feel that we should know how the things work in foreign universities. How was your experience of learning in those colleges compared to the Indian colleges?
Uh, Here, sir, it's all, if you compare the clinical part of it, so there is a lot of things regarding, for example, sterilization, and there are a lot of barriers which we keep on the chairs, and uh, how you learn to learn the communication part, how you talk to patients, how you follow all the protocols for each patient. You change the plastic barriers, then you put new ones, you wipe the surfaces, uh, infection control based, right, right, communication based. And these are the few things which I observe. And also it like due to the assisting license I had, I was able to work in different clinics. So you get to know how different clinics work, how the system is, what type of things they use for different procedures. Uh, and so, as I mentioned, communication is a very integral, very important part here. How you communicate, taking informed consent for procedures, explaining the patients what are things, what are the outcomes, predictable outcomes, disadvantages, advantages, benefits, risk, everything, such things.
And how are the teachers? Do you want some quality which you found in the teachers, and you hope that wish I had this type of qualities in teachers in India?
So when I look back, I would see like if we had like a very I'm not telling it should be like a friendly, but at least an approachable environment that would have really helped to like if there's any case on OPD itself, like what is this? Things like that. Here it's more of an approachable. I felt, and I'm not blaming staff and all, but even it was us. We were also not so much into it. So that would be something I would really see. Like, because practical knowledge is something, the experience of staff is totally different when we are students at that time. So that was something different. And also here it's more of there are different projects, different assessments which you have to do throughout the months. Like so, every other week you'll have something to submit. There'll be some assessment, and it's not like one exam for the 6 months. There's always something going on, so you're always on track of what's going on.
I
And
think that's very even I feel like I have been reading some books, and I think the student should be judged based on day-to-day performance, or case to case. What happens, at least in Indian scenario, is I think they are assessed at the end of 3 months, and people think they have a lot of time, and the major exam is in the year end, so everybody thinks they have 1 year to prepare. But the real learning can happen every single day. I think
100%.
yeah, that is what I wish we could do. It's so easy to learn, and I think the most important thing what a teacher can do is sit with a student and discuss, and spend one-to-one time. That is what I think what approachable means. That it is the most effective way of learning, because you are sharing your own experience. You are also understanding what the student has understood, because sometimes you teach theory and you assume that the student has understood it, but
Right.
majority sometimes they don't understand.
And also one more thing, sir. Sorry to interrupt you. Like that environment of, even if I want to ask like a very silly doubt, very stupid doubt, but I wouldn't be judged on that. If we have such a thing, it would be, even small, like very small doubts, silly doubts, and I can easily answer, okay, what is this? So such an environment would be really helpful.
My next question is, you had applied for this course when you were in India, and did you do this process through email? And how much time did it take to apply to this course? How, and maybe after that, I will ask you your visa experience.
So there are a lot of consultants available throughout India, I think. Yeah, one of my seniors, they didn't charge anything because I think they have their own income generating from the college. I think so. Yeah. So they won't charge you any other fees except the visa application fees, student visa application fees. There's no extra charge at that moment.
You feel the consultancies are genuine, or have you come across any news there that the consultancy, some frauds can also happen, and any advices for students on choosing the consultancy?
I would say, for example, like in my case, I had a senior from our college. So she had recommended, she was already there. So she recommended me the consultancy through which she applied. So I just went through it and I got my things done with them. So I would say if it's something like this, if someone already has a good experience with it, that's gonna be helpful in future. And of course, we can go visit the consultancy offices in person and see how they are. The frauds and all, they do happen. But yeah, that's one thing. If I would say, like, if we go through someone's experience who are already here and they have been in the college and everything is okay here, then that's a good idea to follow them.
Okay. And this courses starts from which month? Is it like Jan, or do they get enrollment two times a year? Do you have to consider 1 year course or 2 year course? Any some tips when you choose your course, what you did, dental assistant course?
At least if you're coming on a student visa, depending on how your score is, as I told, like that CRS score, I didn't know about it. So once I got my student visa, at that time I got to know one of our seniors that they mentioned me that there is this program to apply directly your PR. Try that and look into that. So, but if you're coming on a student visa, you can always take a 1 year course and see how your points are, like, and check it with the recent changes which are happening with the immigration. And accordingly, you can choose if you want to do what I know is if you take a 1 year of student visa course, you will get 1 year of work permit. If you take a 2 years of course, then you get eventually a 3 years of work permit. So in total, you'll have 5 years. So different ways would be you can take a 1 year course, so you'll get a 1 year work permit, and then you can see how the recent scores are and what scores are you up to, and then eventually you can figure out if you want to do one more year of course or you think you should be okay with the PR score.
Okay. So I'm thinking about this one question which you said. I'm sure there would be some students or some dentist whose score in one section or one aspect might be less. And by doing this additional course, that score will increase and their chances of getting PR will be more. So, do you think this path is for such people who have less score and are difficult to get a express entry, or like the express entry is you can always go through that and you are very sure of getting a PR there?
Mm. So as I told, you can always check the score and then accordingly decide if you just graduated, I would say at least have a 1 year of work experience so that those points will help you eventually to get your PR. And it all depends on the score and the
Yeah,
recent
no, no.
changes.
What I'm trying to ask you, Dr. Yash,
Hmm.
here is that by having a Canadian degree,
Mhm.
like suppose there is an Indian degree and it will give you only 4 out of 10, and a
Okay.
Canadian degree will give you 8 out of 10. So, do you think a Canadian degree has more weightage in the scoring pattern?
So they all add up, sir. If you are just applying on Indian score, you'll have a, for example, as I told, for our BDS, it will be like a professional degree or master's degree. There's an option of that. And then if you'll have a Canadian 1 year of course, it's going to add up more points. I don't know the exact number, but it's going to eventually add up more points so that your total will increase. And also in
Achha.
IELTS, there is a typical thing, like for example, if I'm not wrong, if listening, you score 8, and there's reading, writing, and speaking, and you need at least 7 in each. That's going to be like it's going to put more scores, and of course, more than if you score 8.5 and 888, it's going to add up more scores. But minimum of this, like
So, how did you prepare for your IELTS? Did you?
I used to take a lot of things from YouTube. So there were 2 or 3 channels, and then I used to first listen to their lectures, note down the points. For example, even in writing, for example. So there's a certain way if you write, like in paragraphs and these many words, that's going to help you get more points, or as compared to someone whose English is amazing, but right. So
Acha.
such tricks, if you pick up from these, just and the app store, if you open an app store, we'll just put IELTS, we'll get like 100 of apps, practice from them. And YouTube, like for listening, just put IELTS general listening test. So maybe like couple of hours a day for 3 to 4 weeks. Uh, yeah, just get those lectures from them first, and then try to implement what they are telling into your writing and speaking. Just record yourself or practice with your friend. Uh, and as I told, for YouTube was a great source. YouTube and all these random apps on Play Stores, App Stores, that was really helpful.
Thank you, Yash, for giving that information. I'm sure Canada is a new place, and as you go to any different country, there would be some challenges. Did you face any challenge when you started your education journey in Canada before giving all these licensing exams?
Um, of course, like when I moved from Gujarat to going to Karnataka for the BDS college, it was just same country and different state. At that moment, there was many things to. There are a lot of different cultures. You meet new people. You're not in a comfortable environment. Uh, so same similarly, when we moved. Um, there are a lot of things to learn the bus system, like you just stand on the bus stand and you see the bus you're supposed to catch, it goes from the opposite side because you are standing in the wrong direction. You meet new people, you make new friends, you find your part-time job opportunities. Yeah, it was challenging in all different aspects, but you see everyone there your age, younger than you, older than you, going doing the same things, making their finding their way out. So it's a lot of things to learn. Yeah.
What is the most toughest thing there which you faced and you might have felt, यार मैं क्यों यहाँ पे आया, मैं तो वापस चला जाता हूँ.
I have this moment. It was like maybe 6 7 years back. It was so when I came here, um, like back home after like I never earned my own money. So when I came here, when I had my college started, the first thing was get a part-time job. Like get a paycheck of your name and things like that. So one of my friend, he was doing a dishwashing job, and I was saying yes, yes, because I never knew what is it, how it is. I said, yeah, yeah, okay, I'll go. And it, but I just went for like a couple of days, and then I just remember how that one couple of days of experience, but that taught me a lot. That after that I can do any type of work because how that job was. To like you can never imagine I would be doing that when I would be here. So, but that kind of uh, made me tough. And I remember because I finished late, like around 11:30, and I missed the last bus. And I was just waiting at the bus stand and think like, why did I come here? Like everything was good in India,
Yeah.
but yeah, it's a good experience though.
I think that is why I have gone through a lot of struggle during my not BDS days. We had a lot of difficulties, and I do feel that because that struggle is taken out with the student, and students have no fault in that. Like, of course, the whole aim of Indian parents, majority knowingly or unknowingly, is that you want your kids to have a better life than what you have. So, but in that process, sometimes students do not realize the opportunities what they have and what can benefit through what amazing things you can do with that. But that realization is very important. Everybody has to go through it. And what did you do when the last bus was, there was, like you said, there was a last bus. Then what did you do?
I called up my parents, I called my dad and like talking about it, but I didn't mention about this part. I was just saying, okay, what's going on, this, that, blah, blah. But at that moment, like there are options of getting taxi and cab. But if you take a cab, then the amount of work you did, like 4 hours or 5 hours of shift you had, you're gonna spend half of the amount taking that cab. So I just
Okay.
waited. Then luckily, there was one more guy who came in, and we just had a conversation waiting for the bus. But you just remember that moment that okay, and that uh, feeling of that first paycheck, you always remember that okay, whatever job it was, but it was on my name, and
You were always humble. I have never thought, as a student, you were always humble. But experiences like this, I think are important because it keeps you grounded. One thing I've realized in foreign countries that the system is different. For example, here in India, what we feel is that by doing, or someone people who are doing small jobs, they have less respect than others who are
true.
doing a bigger job.
No,
At
sir,
least.
I totally agree with you. Like, because it's not only me. There are people who are MDS graduates, had their own clinics back home, but even they are driving Uber. Even I was driving Uber during these exam process. I used to work as an assistant. Even other people, I mean, when I used to be there, when I told about Sudbury, I just worked there 2 days as a dishwasher, and I said, okay, this is not, I can't do it. But then I got into Walmart. I was working there as a cashier, but they were all people, even like a senior of mine or older than me, younger than me. They're all there working. So, but you get that respect even if you're working as a cashier or you're working as a on a floor as a different associate in Walmart, right from the one who is carrying carts outside. But even I had done that work, so I know whenever I go for shopping, I would make sure I come back and
You
put that
respect.
cart in the queue because how much work it takes to put that card back in queue, it's not easy.
Okay. That's something nice, I think, which you have shared. But looking back, where you have come today, that you are practicing dentistry near Toronto, that's I think the struggle is very important. That is what makes the achievement so memorable and enjoyable and worth sharing. Otherwise, it doesn't. Achievements do not have any value if there is no struggle. It doesn't feel that special. So you completed that course for 1 year, and then you started working as a dental assistant. And what do you do generally in the dental assistant role in the dental clinics?
So as a dental assistant, it's like, for example, the clinic starts at 9 o'clock. You go there at 8:30. Then you like there's a specific X-ray which you do. We call it steppage to check if the X-ray machine is working properly or not.
Okay.
You
Oh, you do all those things there. I,
yeah,
I have read only in the books here. Like I think you check. It's a you calibration whether you see the film quality is maintained exactly. But it's
exactly.
a conventional film or. Because we
No,
have a
sensors.
digital screen.
Mhm. So yeah, on digital sensors,
Acha.
and then you set up the room, get the instruments ready, start the sterilization load if the instruments from the last day, and you look up the schedule, how things are for the day, and prepare the instrument trays accordingly. And yeah, you flush the lines of the handpiece which you're supposed to use. Yes, like the new exam which came in, like there's a one exam which is a situational judgment in which it is basically more of an interactive, like it's a combination of writing task and interaction based exam with the patients. So because of the assisting background, I had a bit of idea how you talk, what all things you mentioned, uh, the, the data, basically, how you explain the procedure, everything. So you just sit there, listen everything, so you have a bit of idea how things are. So that helped in the exam for sure.
Okay. And did you meet any people during this work experience which turned out to be a great help in future aspects? Was there very
100%, sir. 100%. Even though like the job, I'm still going interviews and going here and around, but because of the assisting work I had, there were a couple of clinics who did offer me work because they knew me and I knew how the clinic is, how things are. So that created me a job opportunity to work as a dentist in the clinic. And also you make so many friends because if you go to clinic, there'll be some hygienist who is also back home, volunteering dentist. He or she will have his or her experience, or even he or she might be doing a different exam, maybe the first exam or the second exam. And also you like to be here. I mean, you have good friends around, you have a good network, so it 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 helps you to learn what's going on, uh, what's new, how to if there are issues, how to solve that, things like that.
So we have pretty much covered everything. I have one last question. Is that what would be few important things which you would advise people who are thinking of this process of getting into a degree? What would be, because I'm sure that you may have done some mistake and then must have realized I could have done this in this way. It could have been done better, or there was an easier other aspect. So, are there any tips and tricks which you want to advise our viewers so that the process of getting into a student visa becomes very helpful?
So I would say like every individual is a different state in their life, like how their situation is, right? So most importantly, it'll be for them to analyze if if they are single, if they have a family. So accordingly, decide if you want to come on student visa, how much money is invested in that, the time is invested, or you want to wait for a year, check how your points are for the PR, and come directly based on PR. I would I would always suggest to come directly based on PR because first of all you'll save money which you're investing on the 2 years of course. You'll also save your two couple of years, and also the benefits which are there, like you can work as much as you want, the financial benefit which the bank will give you. I think one of the most important is stability which you'll have, because if you're on a student visa you'll always, there's one some point of thing like, okay, I still have to get my PR. So you have a stability in your mind if you're coming here directly on the basis of PR.
I think I want to thank you for sharing your experience from your heart. It's very difficult that many times people do not share the difficult aspect of their life. They want to always share things in a very positive way, but you have also shared your difficult times. And it was wonderful talking to you. And in upcoming podcast, my dear viewers, Dr. Yash, who is now working as a dentist after clearing all the exams, will share the steps to go to Canadian licensing exam and the research chain, what happened, and the new patterns, and what difficulties and solutions would be required to appear to such exams and clear it successfully. I want to thank Dr. Yash again. Hope to meet you in the next podcast and discuss this again. And I'm sure that it would be very helpful to our viewers. Thank you for your time.